The pick is in.
With the 61st pick, the Washington Commanders select Trey Amos, cornerback, Ole Miss. Let's bring in Locked On Commanders host David Harrison to break the pick down. And David, you said Amos was second on your Commanders position big board. So were you surprised to see him available for Washington at 61?
Yeah, I would say more nervous. I was holding back the surprise. I was watching the names come across the ticker and across the board, just hoping. I think maybe as much as Adam Peters was that his name would not be called, but clearly that anxiety is from the fact that I never expected him to come down that far on the draft board. So yeah, 100% surprised to see Trey Amos still available, and 100% excited, happy, whatever you want, that the Washington Commanders and I clearly saw him on the same page, and they went ahead and pulled the trigger. Adam Peters said he was a guy they considered with their first round pick. So the fact that he was still there at 61 just made everybody, go through the roof there in Commanders headquarters.
Yeah, maybe low-key one of those steals of the draft. And of course, Trey Amos is known as a physical press corner with enough length to get his hands on and reroute receivers. What else do you like about Amos's skill set that made him second on your position board?
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing right there, is just the physicality and the aggression, right? And he said it himself when we got to meet with him via Zoom after the pick. He said he looks at the Commanders' defense and sees that he's going to bring to this defense is an aggressive play style, and that fits Joe Witt Jr., defensive coordinator, head coach Dan Quinn. That's exactly what they want to do. It's why they went and traded for Marshawn Lattimore. It's a reason they drafted Mikey Sanderson out of Michigan last year, because Mikey, dude's 5'8". If you watch him on tape, he plays like he's 6'2". You know what I mean? And those are the kind of guys they want on that defense in general, but especially in the secondary. So yeah, that ability, the three interceptions that Ole Miss in his final college season, all of those things combined to make him look like a pretty good fit for the Commanders.
And what do you need to see from Amos on day one for him to complement Lattimore, complement Sanderson, complement that whole Commanders corner room?
Yeah, honestly, just come in and do, what he did in Ole Miss, what he did at Alabama, what he did at the University of Louisiana before that. You know what I mean? He's always been just a very physical type of corner who plays his style of football. And, people talk about he's a scheme guy or this guy's a scheme guy. Really, everybody in the NFL that's successful is a scheme guy, because if you don't fit the scheme, you're not going to be successful. And fortunately for Trey, he gets to start his career with a team that has a scheme that he's kind of used to and he comes from. Still, he's also, everybody talks about his physicality, right? But he also shows a lot of savvy and some football intellect when he's in zone as well. And, everybody knows even if you're a quote unquote man covered defense in the NFL, you're still running zone over 50% of the time. So you have to be able to play with some intelligence as well. And Trey shows that on tape. So as long as he comes in, understands, and which it sounds like he does already, that he's not going to be handed anything, no matter how highly the Commanders regarded him on their board, and he's going to earn everything that he needs to get. I think he'll be able to do that. But again, going from Louisiana to Alabama to Ole Miss and being successful in all three stops, I don't think any of that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, well, I know from his days in Atlanta, Coach Dan Quinn loves him fast and loves him physical. So a pick that complements what Coach Dan Quinn, what DQ loves to see quite well. Appreciate the time, David, and for continuing coverage of the Commanders. Subscribe to Locked On Commanders wherever you get your podcasts. And for more on Trey Amos, let's hear from Locked On SEC host Chris Gordy, who spent a lot of time covering Trey up close.
Trey Amos, one of the most versatile defensive backs in this year's draft. What's up, everybody? Chris Gordy here from Locked On SEC. And Trey Amos, a guy who played 5 years of college football, his first 3 playing for Billy Napier at Louisiana, before playing for Nick Saban at Alabama in 23, and then finishing last year at Ole Miss. And he made the most of his senior season, a real breakout season with a career-high 3 interceptions and 16 passes defended. That was the best in the SEC last year. He made first-team All-SEC. We're talking about a really good corner. He's tremendous at covering receivers out of their breaks, recognizing the catch point, really high football IQ. Lane Kiffin has called him a special, unique player, great work ethic. And look, frankly, the guy learned from Nick Saban, who is one of the best when it comes to teaching and coaching defensive backs. He knows what it takes to play at this level. He's probably not the best corner in this draft, but I'd call him a very safe pick, a guy who could play many years in the NFL. He had a great Senior Bowl showing, looked good at the combine, ran a 4.43 40. He's a sure tackler, had one of the lowest missed tackle rates among the corners in this class. Wherever Trey Amos ends up, you're getting a really good player. For more on the SEC, subscribe to Locked On SEC wherever you get your podcasts.